Ricochet has recently made some significant changes to their anti-cheat by introducing silent scans. This can now target cheat developers, such as yourself, without needing to update the Ricochet drivers or the game client. What are your thoughts on this?
Thanks for having me. I just want to start by saying all these questions were created with the combined efforts of the EngineOwning admins and coders to ensure the correctness of all the answers. Now, let me answer the question regarding silent scans. The technique is not new. The anti-cheat within the game is already able to retrieve certain updates silently, without requiring a game update for many years. We are usually fighting problems in advance, and we have been aware of these new anti-cheat features since they have been added. When we saw the change in their driver code to retrieve so-called cheat signatures, we took necessary steps to keep our cheats secure.
The EngineOwning spoofer has recently been detected by Ricochet. Does this concern you?
The cheating business is a game of cat and mouse. Our spoofer is designed as a standalone product working on multiple different games. It does not interact with the game directly. We do it in a way that all spoofed hardware identifiers keep their plausibility. When the spoofer was detected, no real hardware IDs were banned. The spoofer nevertheless fulfilled its task of protecting the genuine hardware identifiers.
There have been some recent rumors that cheat developers use malware within their clients or loaders to track their customers, such as Activision IDs, emails, credit card information, and other things. What's your opinion on this?
If you are referring to the recent data leak which included many logins from cheat providers, we are aware of that. We are also aware of other providers infecting their customers, but we would never do something like this. It's just against our ethics. We want to provide good products for a long time. Speaking of other providers, you can never really rule that out, so customers just have to go with the provider they trust the most, and preferably not one that is a reseller of a reseller. The bottom line is it would be rather unwise to infect paying customers, especially at our size. Happy and returning customers, well, they're our favorite ones.
There have been some rumors that EngineOwning offer private cheats for high-paying customers. Is this true?
This is not true. We do not create or offer private cheats for individual customers.
Some time ago, Fortnite used to use multiple anti-cheats. If Ricochet collaborated with another anti-cheat, would this be a problem, or at least slow down updates to your cheat loaders?
There will always be cheaters. If there are more possibilities for detection, then more time is needed for testing, and the use of a less detectable method is then necessary, depending on the anti-cheats developer's efforts. It might be able to slow down update procedures regarding a possible collaboration with another anti-cheat. After spending so much money on an in-house solution, we can't imagine Activision ever partnering with any kind of third-party anti-cheat.
In previous Call of Duty titles, Valve was the leading anti-cheat. Do you think if Valve were in control now, the cheating wouldn't be as bad?
While Valve's approach is quite different to those of Epic and Riot, it is an anti-cheat that shouldn't be underestimated. Valve has many advantages for players over anti-cheats like Ricochet because they value the privacy of the players by not taking screenshots and aren't intrusive. At least other anti-cheats stand up for their mistakes and do not make PR stunts, like saying they don't make mistakes and all permanent bans are final.
What percentage of the market would you say EngineOwning command within the Call of Duty cheating scene, and what percentage of the total player base is cheating?
It's hard to predict because we do not know the amount of players across all platforms, and we can't estimate this without knowing the total amount of players and the amount of users from different cheat providers.
What's your opinion on Ricochet?
Ricochet is an attempt to develop an in-house kernel anti-cheat. It does a lot of things well, but there is definitely still a lack of fine-tuning. It still has teething problems that established anti-cheat solutions no longer have. However, kernel anti-cheats also have deep system rights, and many practices are not conducive to privacy. And since kernel anti-cheats are not the holy grail, you can see that there is probably more cheating in Call of Duty than ever before.
Does EngineOwning have any plans to move into the DMA market for Call of Duty?
Never say never, but there is not the slightest plan from us to join this market in the near future. DMA is not undetectable or a magical method to avoid getting caught cheating, as our competitors claim. We believe that using DMA for any Call of Duty game is like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. It is neither appropriate, inexpensive, or easy to use.
I know you won't reveal any personal information, but can you confirm that some high-profile streamers use EngineOwning without naming them?
We do not check our users, and data protection is sacred to us. We see nothing, we hear nothing, and we say nothing.
How would you rate Ricochet anti-cheat compared to others, such as BattleEye, Riot's Vanguard, or the Easy anti-cheat?
It's better than nothing. However, it must be said that a kernel-level anti-cheat is not everything. The integration and the work processes in the company must also interlock. We have big plans for the future. BattleEye and Easy anti-cheat are our next targets.
During some recent scans by Ricochet, you made some pretty bold claims regarding the Ricochet anti-cheat and how it detected itself. Activision have refused to comment on this. Could you explain more?
We tweeted about the false bans and also found the cause. We still stand by our tweet and are serious that experienced reversers can contact us to verify this independently. Ricochet detected itself. That's a fact. We would like to add that we are aware of bans due to unlock tools in general. Nevertheless, the fact that the anti-cheat has detected itself and led to bans is a fact.
I was able to verify this was indeed correct. This was confirmed by another cheat developer, and someone very close to the studios. You can check the EngineOwning Twitter page for more info. The link is in the video description. Well, that concludes this small interview. I appreciate the time and for verifying the information with the coding team.
Thank you once again for the interview request and for allowing us to express ourselves here. If you have any questions, please never hesitate to ask.
As EngineOwning provided me with some invaluable information, I decided to reach out to one of my sources. They are very close to one of the studios and well connected. Thanks again for agreeing to this. You know your time is always appreciated. Let me start by asking this. Did Ricochet detect itself during a recent scan?
It's complicated. I am not connected to the Ricochet team and have no idea what goes on over there. It's a back-end office, which means they block communications from Activision's community support. They don't even have a chance to escalate anything. Nothing gets through. But the word is yes. Ricochet did actually detect itself during a recent scan, but it's not a big deal. The collected names were filtered. I highly doubt any bans were issued, and if they were, they would be unbanned within minutes. Remember, this also happened on the launch of Modern Warfare 2. Some users got banned and then unbanned the next day due to a problem with false detections, and if I remember correctly, it was a graphics card issue.
This is a question many in the community want to know. Recently we saw some huge bans across Warzone. Some were claiming they were false banned. Is this true? And if so, how?
Permanent bans are final, unless it's an error backend or the set account was hacked. If you get permanently banned, it's for a very good reason, trust me. But they know your reputation and potential career will be at risk, so it's not done off the cuff.
Just touching on that previous question, if someone is banned, would they be able to recover the same Activision ID if they were later unbanned?
If an account was flagged to be banned by error, or if someone gained unauthorized access to an account, the Activision ID would be unchanged.
Are streamers protected by a whitelist? And if so, do Ricochet ignore the Activision IDs on that list?
So this is something I can speak about. There is a whitelist, and yes, there are a number of gamers on this list. But I want everyone to know it's not a conspiracy. Every game has a whitelist. It's to protect high-profile gamers from malicious reports, and yes, Ricochet will filter names on that list, so they will not be shadow banned. Now I understand, this means that these people will never enter the shadow lobbies, and in turn they can't be detected if they are indeed cheating. Only the Activision IDs are stored, not the player. The list also has option to queue hold. This basically means only players on that list can find each other. I think this was done during the Call of Duty endowment. I don't know everything about the list, but I can confirm it exists. That's all I can really say on that, as I would be guessing.
Do you interact with the people who stream Warzone? And if so, can you explain why they are treated like royalty? As it seems the studios are afraid of upsetting them. Many times, it seems like streamers blackmail the studios using social media.
I have no interaction with any of the Call of Duty influencers, and I do not know anyone that does. Unknown to many people, there is a wall full of screens dedicated to just watching streamers, not because they are fans, but because they want to stay connected to the community. Many people think these influencers have the ability to ban people by simply pressing a report button, but it's a myth. It's done by the studio that is watching the streams. The influencer doesn't have that option. Normally, the studio will wait for the streamer to report, then the studio watching that stream will issue a ban, but even then they don't have the power to permanently ban anyone. They will more than likely be shadow banned or temporary banned. I hope that cleared up some misinformation. However, I am aware that some influencers have a contact to send in IDs to have them shadow banned. But no, I don't interact with anyone from the influencer team and couldn't care less about influencers.
When the streamers attended the Infinity Ward studios, you could tell the developers were growing impatient at their constant complaining. Then we saw Repulse cheating, with Diaz Biffle hiding inside the walls, making the developers look stupid. What are your thoughts on this?
I have no idea who those people are or what they did, but I do remember that Infinity Ward were contacted by the publisher, who had arranged some Call of Duty influencers to visit their studio and test their game. I can't say too much about this, but I know it was a massive inconvenience for Infinity Ward. They don't like anyone interfering with their game, and for good reason.
During the World Series of Warzone, the rules stated that the streamers were not allowed to install any software on the PCs. However, I was able to obtain one of the streamer packs, where they told the streamers that they were now allowed to install some software, including DS4 Windows. I now have uncovered evidence that streamers were installing anything they wanted, and nobody cared. Why was this allowed? And why was there never a formal investigation into the tournament and the money recovered?
I didn't watch it, to be perfectly honest, but I did hear that it was a complete mess from the start. They just wanted the whole thing over and done with. That's as much as I want to say on this.
Is there any bad blood between Activision and Infinity Ward? Because from my personal experience, I have always found Infinity Ward to be a very competent studio.
Some of the previous developers I speak to still have a bitterness in their stomach about how they were treated. As you probably know, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare was created by Infinity Ward and published by Activision, and it was a massive success. However, when they were nearing the end of MW2, Activision were constantly interfering. During the development, Infinity Ward couldn't stand anyone at Activision and would only speak to just 2 people over there. Things got so heated, Infinity Ward told Activision to off, and they would just run with the title Modern Warfare 2, and they don't even need Call of Duty. The dispute was about breaking the game up regarding DLC maps. It wasn't until the last minute that they were able to agree terms, but it was too late. Just take a look at your box cover art for MW2, and you will see a tiny Call of Duty logo on the artwork. Infinity Ward made it clear this was a Modern Warfare title, not Call of Duty, and that really annoyed Activision. I think some discs even went out without Call of Duty on them, and the maps didn't get the name added until a few days after release. There was a massive internal lawsuit after this, but I can't comment on it.
Today we got a small glimpse into the battle behind the scenes, and a peek of what the future may hold. I want to personally thank EngineOwning and my contact for their time. Whilst people can disagree, it can be done respectfully. It's time Activision severed the crossplay link between PC and consoles. But the biggest thing to take from this, that studios need to take on board. Stop listening to Warzone streamers on how to make your game. Look at how your streamers have attacked you on social media regarding the latest updates. Stop catering to these people and build your game for the millions of others out there that you forgot about.